Graffiti affects us all. We see it in the work environment, at school, just in general everyday life. In this documentary, we plan to look at the proposed problem in the Southampton area. We're going to talk to the artist, the people that clean, and the organisation which is part of the regeneration of Southampton, using artists to regenerate the areas to make them look a little bit nicer. We asked the local public what they felt about graffiti.
I like the graffiti that's good artwork and it's got something to say. I don't like the graffiti which is just like somebody's initials and slogan, you know. The record on commercial art in this town's a bit iffy.
Looks pretty good, yeah. Quite glad, someone's sort of brightening the place up a bit. Like, I like graffiti if it's sort of actually a picture or something. I don't like it if it's just someone's name scribbled on the wall.
I quite like the way that it changed every time I came down it. Seemed to be a new piece of artwork every time I walked through. Really interesting, made my walk to work really great.
Pretty good. Can come and do it in our college in our common room if you want.
Well, I think it brightens the place up anyway. Oh yeah, they should sort it out. Get it done professionally or something. The coach is good shit.
Looking around Southampton, there seems to be a lot of graffiti, but finding an artist is quite difficult seeing as they don't hang around for long. We managed to track down one of the artists and he gave us his views on the council, the graffiti and the future it holds.
Do you think it's an art?
Yeah, it is an art. I think it's very much a good art and it takes a lot of practice and time and dedication to become really good at it.
How much does it cost you to put up a piece?
It can cost you from between 30 to about £100 or maybe a couple of £100. It depends on various of what you're going to paint and how big the wall is and your colour schemes and how much colour you're going to put into it.
Where do you see yourself going with graffiti?
I've got plans of just doing stuff like clothing. I don't really want to abuse the art to a certain extent where I've got to work on it 24/7. I'd rather just use it as kind of a hobby sort of thing.
Would you say it's a very social thing as well, like graffiti and the people involved?
The people involved, yeah, it's very sociable because we all get along and we have a very good laugh doing it.
Do you go straight onto wall? Or
yeah.
Is it, you don't like plan the drawing that you're going to put on the wall first?
I sit around drawing all the time, but when it actually comes to going to the wall, I prefer freestyling it. Even though it's based on the same sort of style, I'd rather go and do what's on my head and actually copy something out from a bit of paper.
How do you feel about offensive graffiti?
Offensive graffiti, it doesn't interest me. It's nothing that I'm into. I don't even notice it because it doesn't interest me.
Or would you say that they're graffiti artists or just vandals?
No, I think they're just young teenagers, and I think every young teenager sort of experience some sort of graffiti at some point in their lives. It's just part of growing up.
What happens if you get caught?
Well, it depends on how much you've done, what you're writing, how much you've created. If it's a lot, then there's a good chance of a really heavy fine or maybe going to prison.
Have you been to prison?
Yeah, I still love it. I don't kind of think about the time when I've done it. It's just in the past.
So what do you think about Beyond Graffiti?
They're doing me good, they make me money. It's a good thing for the younger generation, really, I suppose, yeah. But most of the time, I'm always drunk. So you could actually say I'm a bit of a piss artist as well. But can control that at the same sort of time.
It is questionable that graffiti is an art, especially when it offends people. To counteract this, a team has been set up by the council to remove any obscenities within 24 hours.
How long has graffiti removal been going?
In this present format, it's been going just over a year. Prior to that, we used a different product and a different system.
Right.
But as it is at the moment, we've got two lots of graffiti cleaners, the one you can see now, and another team that goes around, a sparkling city team, Clearview, with a van. They do the bus stops, bus shelters, and clean graffiti off of all the street furniture as such. Overall, they clean probably the vast majority of the graffiti on the public property.
Which area is most affected from graffiti?
The city centre, and I would say the worst one at this present time is in the Polygon area for some reason.
Right.
That's very badly hit, and unfortunately the majority of the properties down there are private properties, which does cause us a problem for cleaning.
How much does this cost the taxpayer around?
It's probably about 300 to 400,000 pound a year. The graffiti cleaning costs into the ratepayer of the city.
Fair size.
It's a large amount of money which could be probably better spent elsewhere.
You're working with Beyond Graffiti in a sense. Is this working out well?
It's working out very well because it gives us another avenue to use the talents really that are still available, because some of the graffiti artists are quite talented, and Beyond Graffiti gives us an outlet for them. Together with, we work with the community service people. That's another outlet where we get graffiti clean. We try every avenue we can to try and reduce the graffiti and try and divert the people away from graffiti to doing something more constructive.
Well, we always pull up, either we park on the road or we come down, as you can see, depending on access, and we look at what to take off and what we're going to use and how much water and how long. I mean, if we're going to be here a long time, we put cones and signs out so that people go around us. On a complete subway, we'd use 2,000 or 3,000 litres of water and 150 kilos of salt. And we start from one end and clean it off and clean up as we go and have another look at it and do it completely again.
So, how long would it take us to do, say, this whole section here? About an hour. And what's the chemical you're using to remove it?
This is salt. Like how much? Salt.
Salt. Right. Salt mixed with water, high pressure.
Yeah. Just cold water feed, blast the salt on the wall, and else it comes.
And does it remove the paint or just the...
It will just remove the graffiti if you just attack the graffiti or and the paint. I mean, a lot of these are being repainted, so we take the whole case off. Graffiti, paint and everything, back to bare brick.
Maybe the solution is to fight fire with fire. This takes us to our final and maybe more controversial interview with Beyond Graffiti. What, in your opinion, is the problem with graffiti in Southampton?
It's not good enough, really. I think that's the problem. There's several, I think, from my experience in Southampton, who perhaps are just using tagging to get themselves known, to get a reputation across the area, and at the end of the day they're just annoying people. And there's areas of this city which genuinely look shabby. They look as if they're dangerous areas to walk through because there's so much tagging around. Some of the underpasses in this city, genuinely I'd be quite intimidated to walk through them.
How do you think kids get into graffiti? Do you think it's peer pressure or is there some other reason for it?
Young people get into graffiti and will start off just by copying friends and mates. Gradually, some young people get into the culture of it. They get into the networks of other artists.
What projects has Beyond Graffiti been working on with the council?
Well, recently we've been commissioned by Southampton City Council to do a project on Southampton Common. There's a building which stands next to the Southampton Common, the paddling pool. It's called the Pump Room. And it was for a long time the target of lots of tagging, and the City Council would paint it white again, and within sort of overnight almost it was getting covered with negative graffiti. They approached Beyond Graffiti as to see if we had an alternative, really, and in fact we did. As a result of that, we've been commissioned now to use and work with local artists to produce a mural in Harrison's Cut, which is a mural that runs between Hoglands Park and St Mary's Street. Similarly, at the same time, right at the top of London Road, there's an underpass called College Place. And again, that's been the target of a lot of graffiti, a lot of vandalistic graffiti. We're currently putting together the designs for that subway. It's a very large area, that subway, and it's been quite a challenge to come up with a design which might be pleasing to everyone that uses it and remain credible to local graffiti writers. But we think we've come up with the right sort of designs now. It's going to cost several thousands to complete, but inevitably in the long term we're hoping it's going to reduce the overall amount of tagging and criminal damage done to that subway.
As you have seen, graffiti is a problem in Southampton. But with the unified work of the artists, the cleaners and Beyond Graffiti, it seems we could have a solution to an ongoing issue, beyond art removal.